Hi, my name is Jill Hamill and I am a special education food preparation teacher. Today we will be making Kimchi Arancini, which is a twist on Italian rice balls with the addition of Asian ingredients, including kimchi and Gochujang, which give this recipe a really nice spice. So first we are going to make our dipping sauce, and the dipping sauce is a spicy mayo made with Kewpie mayo, sriracha, chili garlic sauce, and then you're just going to mix all of the ingredients together, and there you go. And there is our dipping sauce for our Kimchi Arancini. The next step of the recipe is to prepare the seasoned chicken stock. So you're going to add 4 cups of chicken stock to a pot over a medium heat. Next, you're going to add some gochujang, and this is going to add some spice to the kimchi arancini. And finally, you're going to add some soy sauce, and this will add some salt to the chicken stock. And if your chicken stock is unseasoned, please remember to add some salt to taste. So after the broth is heated through, you want to keep this on the back of your stove to stay hot. So when you're making the rice, it is all ready to go. And now we can move on to the next step. The next step of the recipe is to begin the kimchi risotto, which we'll be using to make our arancini. The first step is to add the sesame oil and the avocado oil. Now I like to use both oils because the avocado oil is neutral and the sesame oil is bold in flavor, so they pair nicely together. I am going to saute some garlic and some scallion whites until they are soft over a low to medium flame for about 3 to 5 minutes. So I like to use the white part of the scallion inside of the rice balls because it is a little bit stronger in flavor. So I like to saute that down with the garlic, whereas the top of the scallion, or the darker green portion, after the scallions and garlic are softened, I'm going to add rice. For this recipe I am using sushi rice, which was lightly rinsed until the water ran clean. You just want to give the rice a nice light toast before adding the kimchi. Now I am going to add the kimchi, which I finely chopped up. You want to make sure the pieces are nice and small so that the rice balls are easily formed. Some kimchi juice and some gochugaru, which is Korean chili flakes. And you're going to mix all of these ingredients together until they are incorporated. I'm going to use a ladle to add a little bit at a time until the rice is covered. And you want to make sure that your chicken stock is hot so that it cooks evenly and it speeds up the cooking process. So now that my rice is covered, I'm going to give this a mix, keeping this on a low to medium flame. Unlike traditional rice preparations, the risotto method requires you to stir the entire time through the cooking process, and this helps create and release more starch from the rice, which is going to make a really nice thick and creamy mixture. So it has reduced enough, and as you can see, there's not much liquid left in the pan, so we are going to add a few more ladlefuls of the stock until the rice is covered. And we will continue stirring until all of that liquid is absorbed, and then continue adding the stock until the rice is almost cooked. And you also want to make sure that all of the liquid has absorbed. It will make it easier to form the rice balls so that they're not too mushy and soft. So now at this time we are going to turn off the heat, and we are going to add half a cup of mozzarella cheese. You can add any cheese that you'd like, but I find mozzarella cheese is mild in flavor, so it doesn't take away from the kimchi flavor, but really that is your preference. Now when your risotto is done, you're going to pour it into a 9x13 pan, or any pan that you have on hand. This needs to be completely cool in the fridge for a minimum of 6 hours or overnight before you can form and roll the rice balls. So you just want to use a spoon or a spatula to flatten out this mixture. This will help it cool a lot quicker. And then you're going to pop this in the fridge, and we'll be ready to roll our rice balls in a few hours. that our mixture has cooled down, it is time to scoop and roll our rice balls. So you can use any size scoop that you would like. The scoop that I'm using today is about 1.5 tablespoons, and level it off just to make sure that every rice ball is the same size. Once I do that, I'm going to pop it in my hand, and I'm going to take a piece of mozzarella cheese that I'm going to kind of stuff in the center, and then I'm going to take the extra rice and cover that up so when they fry, that cheese doesn't come out. Roll it to make sure that it's nice and smooth, and there is our rice ball. And you're going to continue with the rest of the mixture. So the next step is to bread our rice balls. We are going to be using flour that we are going to season with some kosher salt. We're going to use some eggs that are going to help hold the breadcrumbs onto the rice balls. And then we are using a mixture of panko breadcrumbs with just plain breadcrumbs. I like to use both of them because I find sometimes the panko doesn't completely coat the rice ball, and so the finer ground plain breadcrumbs really kind of fill in all those little cracks. And I'm also adding some black sesame seeds. I like the way it looks, and it adds a little bit of extra crunch and flavor. Now I'm just going to mix all of these together. You want to make sure the salt is completely dispersed within the flour. And the same with the breadcrumbs and sesame seeds. You want to give that a nice mix until it is completely combined. And finally, in the middle bowl, you just want to whisk the 3 eggs until combined. So first, you're just going to take your rice ball and toss it around in the flour so it's completely coated. And I like to kind of give it a nice tap to kind of get off all that excess flour. You're going to dip it in the egg, and again, make sure it is fully coated, letting the excess drip off before adding it into the breadcrumbs. And you really want to make sure that is coated really nicely. Pack them on. And you're going to repeat these steps for the remaining rice balls. And the final step is to fry our kimchi arancini. So you want to take about 4 cups of oil or so and add that to a pan. You want to make sure that most of the rice bowl is covered by the oil. Any sort of high temperature oil works. Vegetable oil, canola oil, avocado oil will do. Place that over a medium-high heat until it reaches about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. If you do not have a deep fry thermometer or a candy thermometer to check the temperature of the oil, you could either use the back of a wooden spoon and just dip it into the oil to see if it bubbles, which this isn't really bubbling yet, so it probably needs a few minutes to get up to temperature. Or you could take like a little bit of flour or panko breadcrumbs and just kind of dip that in to see if that is sizzling, which it's not. So it probably needs a little bit more time to get up to 350 degrees. So now I'm going to check the temperature of the oil once more. As you can see, it's bubbling. So now that I know my oil is hot enough, now it is time to add our rice balls. Now that our oil is heated through, I'm going to add them to the oil gently so that I don't splash myself. And I'm looking for a really nice golden brown color on all sides of the rice ball. I also don't want to add too many to the pan at once, as it will drop the temperature of the oil and cause them to cook longer. As they are cooking, I'm going to make sure to turn them so that they get a really nice golden brown on all sides. When we are done, we are looking for this coloring really nice and golden brown, but not too dark and not too light. After you take your rice balls out of the pot of oil, you really want to make sure that you cool them on a cooling rack so that they don't get soggy. Now that we have finished frying our rice balls, the final step is to garnish with some scallion greens. This was the top portion of the scallions that we reserved from earlier, and we have our dipping sauce on the side as well. And now it's time for the taste test. I'm going to try our rice balls with the dipping sauce. It is so delicious. It's craveable with the creamy cheese in the center, the spicy kimchi, and the really crunchy exterior with the panko breadcrumbs and the sesame seeds. It is just so delicious, and you are bound to love these. Definitely a great appetizer for a party, or even just to make on your own to enjoy by yourself.